poll about not stopping people smugglers. Good question. Front page of the Daily Mail. Let's ask Isabel Oakeshott. Will anyone rid me of this damn priest, as they say? Isabel, very good morning to you.
Morning. I'm a bit worried about you, Mike. I think you're working yourself into a massive lather, but I can't say I blame you. I mean, listening to Justin Welby pontificating in that incredibly annoying, sanctimonious way about why this legislation to stop the boats is also morally wrong, and all this hand-wringing and bell-ringing and God knows what else. I mean, what an absolute plonker. The guy's continually nominated for Plank of the Week, isn't he? I'm not sure he's ever actually won it, but it's probably time. This is his moment. It is extraordinary. In fact, the debate in the House of Lords about the government's legislation was pretty interesting yesterday. All sorts of interventions from Labour peers and other well-meaning but totally misguided lefties banging on about why this is such a terrible thing and sets us at odds with everyone else and means that we're not going to be fulfilling our international obligations. But the facts are the facts. Thousands of people are coming over here in rickety inflatables, risking their lives. There's nothing moral about us encouraging, because that is basically what we're doing by allowing it to continue to happen, people to risk their lives in this way, or the people traffickers to make vast sums of money in this way. And worst of all, and this is the thing that wasn't very widely acknowledged in the House of Lords debate yesterday, is just the absolute fact that a very significant number of people coming over are not fleeing terror and persecution. They are economic opportunists, and I can't say I blame them for giving it a go, but we cannot have a situation in this country where we just welcome in everybody. We can see that our infrastructure is already creaking.
Yes, but it's the typical response of what I would call the sort of the socialist middle classes in this country who seem to think that there's nothing wrong with loads of people. I mean, it's the equivalent, as I always say, of leaving your house front door open and having about 20 people turn up while you're out. You get home and they all go, you don't mind if we stay here in your living room, do you? Oh, no, that's absolutely fine. And then another 20 turn up, and before you know it, you're literally standing, you know, cheek by jowl next to about 500 people in your house. It's ridiculous. It's madness. And in no other world would that be acceptable. But these people seem to think there's nothing wrong with it.
And I just don't quite understand it. I mean, is it all under the banner of hashtag be kind? Because maybe be sensible, be smart should actually take a bit of precedence over be kind, because being kind isn't always what it seems. It isn't welcoming any number of people who have little to contribute to this country and not necessarily even plan to do good here. We know the links with organised crime. We know the links with the Albanian criminal underground, with this evil trade. And there's nothing kind about continuing to encourage it. Nothing kind to the people here who are struggling to make ends meet, can't get the opportunities that they want. And critically, housing. I mean, this is a massive issue. Access to affordable housing for ordinary people in this country. It simply doesn't stack up that you continue to add hundreds of thousands over a pretty short period of time, that becomes millions, to the population without actually having the housing to accommodate them.
No, exactly right. I don't know if you heard the vicar that Julia was talking to this morning, who sounded a bit like sort of the vicar of Dibley in political form, who basically said, when she asked him whether he would take any refugees, he went, I've got 3 Ukrainians, as if that's now the new measure of virtue signalling, you know. And I said to her, I said, well, it's not a competition, is it? What are you supposed to go? Well, I've got 5 Ukrainians, or I've got a couple of Ethiopians. I mean, it's ludicrous.
Absolutely ludicrous. I just want to read out a little comment from the Archbishop yesterday in the debate. He said, it is a siloed bill. It is isolationist. What the hell is a siloed bill? Can people not just talk normal language and try to connect with people rather than reinforce the impression that they are woefully and hopelessly out of touch? And I think you made a really good point at the beginning of the programme in your introduction about the 300 smackers that you get for just rocking up to the House of Lords. Is he donating those to refugee causes, or where exactly does that go? And I wonder, I always think about this, the people that are putting a 5 or a 10 into the collection plate on a Sunday, they're hoping that the church will continue to provide the comfort and spiritual support that they need. I wonder whether those people feel that they're really getting that kind of leadership from the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Indeed. Well, let's have a listen and a watch of what he had to say yesterday in the House of Lords. Here he is, the Archbishop of Sanctimony.
It is a siloed bill, not a whole-of-government bill. It does not draw in conflict management and prevention, which drives migration. It does not draw in climate impacts, which drive migration and conflict. It is isolationist. It is morally unacceptable and politically impractical to let the poorest countries deal with the crisis alone and cut our international aid.
I'll tell you what else causes migration and irritation and war, and that's religion. But he didn't mention that, strangely. I mean, religion is a massive driver of refugees, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. And what is he prattling on about with the climate change thing?
Oh, I know.
Look, I am completely open to hearing, and I invite anyone who's listening who knows somebody who has fled to this country in a rickety inflatable boat because they are fleeing actual climate change.
The weather.
I want to hear that story. If there is somebody who has escaped from Bangladesh from extreme flooding and made their way, perilous route all the way here to escape flooding whilst getting in a boat where there may just be a bit more than flooding, then I'd really like to hear from that person and that tale of extraordinary woe. Although it'd be worth pointing out that there's plenty of places between Bangladesh and here.
There certainly are. Also, Bangladesh and the delta of the river there has been flooding ever since Bangladesh has been Bangladesh. So the idea that suddenly you're going to flee because it's flooding, which it does all the time, every single year, is ridiculous. But I can tell you something. I have often thought about emigrating because the weather here is so awful. I don't know where to go.
Oh, I could come up with a very long list of very attractive places for you, Mike, where you don't get taxed very highly.
Now you're talking.
Exactly. We'll have that conversation.
We will. We will. We must fly off somewhere warm and sunny.